Read it to me. We're live, but read it to me.
So this is starting today. This is the weather each day, the highs each day. 95, 96, 97, 100, 98, 98, 96, 93, 94, 94.
See, most people would be like, that's not that bad. But then you have to remind them that that's LA. That's like...
Who the fuck would say that's not that bad? Who says that?
Me. I mean, people. I would say that's not that bad. If I didn't know that it was LA, I would say, bro, you sound like you're on the West Coast, because Nevada, Arizona, like all those like Midwest areas
Arizona's going through it right now. I'm not going. Arizona's in like the 120s right now.
Well, remember? Well, I don't know why I said remember as if we talked about it, but we didn't. The 2 days ago, there was a situation where people were going to Death Valley on purpose to experience the hottest day hottest day on record, which was 136, I think. 136 degrees, brother. Think about that. Just think about it. And
no, I don't have to. I'm just thinking about these idiots trying to kill themselves. But it's like, whatever.
What's the hottest temperature you've ever been in? Do you know?
I've been in Palm Springs in the 120 pluses.
Shit.
Yeah.
Palm Springs doesn't play, especially with them dust storms.
Bro. And it was like, my only shelter was a house with like full of roaches.
Oh.
You know?
That's the worst. Roach. I genuinely... Well, so... What kind of roaches are in California? Because I can only speak for the flying kind that live in Florida, called palmetto bugs, and those are absolutely terrifying.
So I think we call those water bugs here, because I know what you mean.
Oh, yeah, dude, that just gave me a flashback of a lake with bugs everywhere. Ugh.
Bro, you know what I mean? Because I've had that. I have those. We have more of those. Okay, let me rephrase this. In LA in particular, it like varies depending on what part of the city you're in.
Right.
So like, up where I'm at in the valley right now, you're gonna find more water bugs because it's more, it's just more, what's the word? Like there's more nature up here.
Yeah.
But if you go down like in the mid city and even in the Hollywood, really like you'll find roaches. And what I know is roaches are like, because I was having this talk with my girl a couple of days ago because we saw actual what I would call roaches. And she was like, what are those? And I was like, roaches. And then we saw one fly, and I was like, oh, those are water bugs. All right, so those are my two, like...
Shit.
But what I know is roaches, they're like that small. The roaches I think of. They come in droves. There's a whole bunch of them. They never die.
I think those are German roaches, because I've had those in my house in Florida, but the kind I'm thinking of, they're like this big.
Yeah, I know. And they go when they fly.
I had one living in my printer. Not living in my printer. That makes it sound like I live in a trap house. But one that got in my printer when I was a kid. And it was like, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting there on my Windows 95 desktop computer on AOL Instant Messenger. And I heard rustling in the paper. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I literally fell backwards out of my chair. It was a moment for sure, but yeah.
I didn't know they could fly when I first saw one, bro. And then I just peeped it. I was in my studio. I was like recording some music, looking like this at the computer. I seen it over here, right? And I heard the noise for it getting there, but my air conditioner makes the same noise sometimes.
Right.
I have a wall unit in there, so I like looked over, just saw the thing, heard the noise, then saw the thing. I was like, that's the air, that's a bug. Two separate entities. No. I'm keep my eyes on it like this, and I have like a book over here, so I go like this. Right? And as soon as I like look at this thing to fix my grip, the thing goes, and I'm like, no.
We're out of here. Good night. That's the end of the session.
Yeah. I'm giving
up. I'm going to bed. Yeah, that's what it's like when you lose a spider or a roach in your room that you have to sleep in. You're like, burn it down. We're done.
Spider would be hella... I couldn't even go back in that room. Bro.
Have you ever held a tarantula?
Fuck no, I never want to do that.
No, you wouldn't? You wouldn't face your fears and hold a tarantula?
There's plenty of reasons, like, no. No, I'm good.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. I'm not like a spider lover, per se, but as a person who enjoys reptiles and I have a gecko and stuff, I've always wanted to hold one, and my friend had one that I was spending the night with right before like a festival. I didn't stay in the same room, just no, I'm not about it. But he brought it out and I held it. These things are actually pretty cool. They have personalities, if you will. Like they have a soul. They're not just like lifeless, like dead behind the eyes. They've got like, I don't know. I'm not gonna call it cute because that's not the word I would use, but it definitely has like a pet vibe. It's not just like a random spider that you threw into a cage. Like I've seen that before. That's chaos. But
who the fuck does that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm from Florida, where people will catch anything and throw it into a box because it moves. And like, yeah, sometimes it's animals, sometimes it's, other people. You never know.
I think, you know what? Let me rephrase. Somebody told me, it might have been my girl, I don't know. Somebody told me they knew somebody who has like a cage of black widows.
I don't know that person. I don't care to personally. But I've seen them on TikTok for sure, where the spider like farmers. That's just about as close as I'll get to a spider farmer is on TikTok. Because honestly, that stuff is crazy to me. They'll lose their spiders and they're like, oh, now I gotta go find this venomous spider, and I'm like, mm-mm.
Yeah, we good. Bro.
You miss me with that. I mean, I'm all about a little bit of danger. Like I fell asleep with my my python when I was younger. My mom was pissed. I don't think she found out until I found it, though, thankfully. No, she woke up in the middle of the night and was like, why are you up? And I was like, I can't find the snake. And she was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. It was a 6-foot python. It was only like this big around, but I found it.
You be saying hella Florida shit, and I be forgetting to.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've done it, most of it. That's actually why I left. Everyone's like, why are you leaving Florida? It's like the best place ever. I'm like, I did it all, man. I went to a Florida Gator game. I partied in Tallahassee at FSU. I partied at the nightclubs in Miami. I've been on an airboat. I mean, I've done all the Florida shit. I mean, I grew up catching lizards and had at one point like 7 different reptiles in my room.
Didn't you say you wrestled an alligator?
I didn't wrestle one. There was like a just under 10-foot gator in my backyard. That's including the tail. So let's not get too crazy. It's big. I'm not gonna under exaggerate or over exaggerate either. But either way, it was we decided to sit on it because if you can get behind it and sit on top of it, it doesn't have much like way. The only way it can go is like forward. It can try and like spin back, but if you're sitting on it and like holding it, it can't do. That's why if you've ever seen like a alligator show, which that I did grow up seeing is alligator shows. There's a place in Florida. I don't know if it's still there. It's called Gatorland, and that's their whole shtick is just gators in a big ass like swamp, and then they just like
what was that guy's name, bro?
Steve Irwin.
No. I mean, I think I've heard of Steve Irwin.
Oh, the crocodile hunter, the dude that died from the stingray attack. But yeah, who are you talking about?
It's like dude who owned the zoo. What's his name, bro?
The dude who owned the zoo?
Don't give me that look.
No, I'm genuinely curious. I'm curious look. There's a guy who owns a zoo.
They made the Netflix show on him.
Oh, you're Tiger King.
Bro, it's like Gator King. It's like that's what that reminds me of.
So Tiger King is also in Florida.
Yeah,
and
that is in Florida.
That's the most Florida shit there is. I think that. So, but you know what's even more Florida than that, or you know what's more Florida than Florida sometimes is Texas. Texas is more Florida than Florida sometimes because if you look this up, this is a statistical fact to my knowledge. There are more tigers in captivity in the state of Texas than there are in the wild.
Are you serious?
As of 2020, when the Tiger King was a show, that was absolutely a fact. As of now, I don't know. I haven't checked in the last 2 years. But when I checked during the Tiger King, that's absolutely a fact. Because I was like, that's not true. Someone posted it on like Twitter. I was like, there's no way. I looked it up, and it's because in Texas, you don't need a exotic pet license, or you don't need as much as licensing and like paperwork. You can pretty much get away with it if you just pay for it. It's like $5,000, and then they come out. Yeah. They come out, the tiger, they come out, they look at your property, make sure you have enough room, and if you have a big enough backyard for a tiger, they're like, all right, just don't let it get out.
You telling me like a full-size tiger is less than $10,000?
I think I'm talking about like baby ones, like 6 months, a year, like full-grown tigers.
They get bigger. Which
Yeah, I know, but I don't know why. I don't know why they're younger as yeah. I guarantee you because I started looking because I was genuinely curious. I know that you can foster one for about like 3 to 4 grand, I think, for about 6 months. You can foster a baby tiger, meaning they'll bring it to you, they'll give you everything you need, and then they'll be like, all right, here's your tiger, and then they'll take it when it's like a year old. This is America.
you can, man, that's interesting information.
Yeah, dude, you find out new stuff all the time, especially in states like Texas and Florida. Both of those states don't give a fuck, and I love it. I love it. California gives too many fucks. Y'all caught all of Florida fucks. Like all of our fucks went to California.
Yeah, we don't ever find shit out because we don't fuck around.
You don't, and that's okay. Your population is dense for that reason, and Florida's not for that reason as well.
Yes, I mean,
we fuck around all the time. We know too much at this point. We done fucked it all around. Yeah. I mean, anybody from Florida can come at me, but that's literally what Florida life is like. You go to the beach, you drink. Like most places are drinking town with fishing problems.
Right.
Yeah, they just.
Wait, you mean like most places in Florida are drinking towns with fishing problems?
Yeah, I mean the saying is a fishing town with a drinking problem, but. Haha. Yeah, some live, laugh, love, dumb shit humor, but I don't know, man. I thoroughly enjoyed living in Florida. I just think that everybody should live somewhere outside of their home state eventually. I don't think it's like you have to do it by the time you're 20 or else you'll never know what life is like. No, you can do it when you're 40. I don't give a shit. I just think you need to figure it out because I can tell you from personal experience that leaving your, not just your hometown, that's a good step, but leaving your home state is a huge jump, but it's also a way to really and truly find out who you really are because you're forced to start over. There's no, you can't, unless you're one of those people that like vacation somewhere like 5 years in a row and then they're like, okay, now I've got friends, I'm going, like, go you. But I think that when you truly just go, you know what, like either a job or job's really the biggest one, or like a partner or some big reason to go change states, I think is an awesome opportunity to do it if you ever have the chance. Not just you, but anyone who watches this, just because it's something that gives you a whole new perspective that doesn't really have to be like life-changing in the sense of like ayahuasca. Like you don't have to see a 10th dimension in order to gain a new perspective. I think you can do it just by traveling. You don't even have to like move somewhere. Like traveling, I personally have never been to Europe, but I'm going there on New Year's, or yeah, Germany for New Year's, Belgium.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go anywhere else?
Yeah, so my wife was like, we got to go to Amsterdam. And I was like, all right, whatever. We're going to Amsterdam. And funny enough, I ended up getting hit up. This is how cool life is. So there's this company called Collab House. It's a website and a brand or whatever. But they basically, they do sync licensing. They do NFTs. It's all music related. But they also have like all these different services that they offer, and then all the rest of the other ones that most people like, distribution and stuff. And they hit me up in February, and apparently I didn't see it because in March I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw someone do a collab with them, and I was like, oh, this is a really cool service. And I went and I looked and I messaged them. Like I went to message them and I looked and I was like, oh shit, they messaged me already. And they were like, yo, we should collab. And I'm like, I agree, but that was like 3 months ago. My bad. And they're like, but anyway, we ended up getting together on a call for like an hour, and they live in Amsterdam, and they're like, yo, hit me up when you're out here. And I was like, shut the fuck up. He goes, yeah, I'll get you guest listed for all these spots. And I was like,
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we're going to do that. And then, so we'll do that. He was like, you have to like techno. And I was like, psh, I make techno. Let's go. Techno's the shit.
That's your shit. You're like, bro, what?
That's what I said. I mean, yeah, because most Americans don't like techno. So I'm out of the norm. Even though there's tons of people that love techno in the U.S., a lot more now than there were before. I can tell you right now that there are not that many people per like 100 people that listen to techno. I'm not talking dance music that people like to call techno. I'm talking like doom 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 doom, like that real techno shit.
Right.
Which I love, by the way.
You okay, so Amsterdam and Belgium, those are the two.
I want to go to Madrid, but we might not end up there because of logistics. But why? Do you have a recommendation? I would love to hear it if you do.
Well, I've been to Amsterdam once when I was a kid.
I don't know if that counts. That's like going to Vegas when I was like 16.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. I could give you like food recommendations, but I can't give you shit to do recommendations. As far as other places, I was gonna say if you're over there, like Spain would be great, but
that's why I want to go to Madrid, just because I feel like that would, or Barcelona. But I know someone that I work with that's like, oh man, if you like Ibiza, which is like the dance music capital of the world, he's like, that's too commercial. You need to go over to Madrid. Madrid has the same level of parties, but it's not as like popular. And I'm like, oh yes, but yeah, we'll see. I'm not like, I don't like to put expectations on those types of things because I feel like it's kind of like when you take psychedelics for your first time, the more research you do and the more you try to like set the frame of mind, the more you're setting yourself up for like failure. Yeah, it's like missed expectations because you have this idea of how it's going to go, and your brain is going to naturally try and to keep the lanes in that direction, and when it doesn't go that way, obviously your brain's going to be like, damn it. But if you just go into it like whatever, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to go into it like, oh man, I hate this and I like this about it. I'm just going to be like, what's this? It's like, I like to take the perspective of Jack Skellington the first time he goes into Christmas Town.
Okay.
Do you understand the reference?
I know the reference, but I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
well, he literally comes in and he's like, he sings a song. He's like, what's this? What's this? There's something in the air. Yeah. He's just super inquisitive. He's like, what is all this stuff? But yeah. Yeah, now you remember. I do. That's my favorite movie.
Such a wholesome reference for shrooms. It's funny.
Honestly, that's well, I like to go about that for traveling too. So shrooms and traveling, I mean shrooms is traveling but in your head. So I think that's still traveling.
You said you've done a good amount of DMT?
I wouldn't put it in those terms. I've done more than the average bear, but yeah. No, I've probably done it like three sessions total.
Okay.
Yeah.
And give me a brief summary again of the experiences, or like the most vivid experience you had with it.
Whew. So the most vivid experience I had that I can remember were 3 in a row. Well, so the first time it was crazy because I like laid back and I looked up and there was like fractals and stuff, and then I like was like lifted up into this stratosphere. Obviously I was like just still laying down, but it was just like crazy visuals, and then I like felt like I had left my body, which was cool. That was the first time. That was a super synthetic stuff. And then like the second time I did it was like hybrid. It was like partially synthetic, partially organic, and that was crazy. Probably I think that was the craziest stuff. But I remember specifically the person I was with, they said something to me right when I took the hit, and I looked at them and they said something and smiled, and the smile just kept going and going and going, and then like I looked around and everything turned into a smile. So like if you look at the pattern of like wood, the wood started to smile, and like the TV started to smile. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
I would have been scared. Yeah, that's crazy.
That wasn't even the most crazy one. That was like on the back end. The front end was gnarly. The first one, everything turned into Legos. It was like, I was like, what the? And it turned into like clay pastel color, almost like soft. Like it made everything soft, but it was like clay Legos. It was the craziest thing ever. And that, mind you, it's like 15 minutes.
Right.
So like everything became Legos and then like came down, and then the last one I remember very vividly was same session. I was sitting there and there was a cat in the house, and the cat like jumped off the table and turned into like a tiger or puma or something, like a big cat. Like it looked much bigger, and my brain just started like running with the jungle theme, and then like vines started to grow along the roof, and then the fan turned into like hanging tree, and then like a whole house, the living room turned into nothing but a jungle. And it was just, I was in a jungle with like these crazy, like, yeah, it was quite intense.
You kind of selling me on it a little bit though.
But here's the thing though. So here's the thing that's not even like the best part in my personal opinion. The best part is the leaving your body part, because when you're able to strip when you leave the me, the I, the ego, all that shit behind. I'm gonna move this so I don't do that again. When you leave all that shit behind, it's truly a freeing experience. Like if you've ever, like, I know people have taken like ecstasy, MDMA, and all that shit, and they're like, oh, I love that. It's like way better than that, because it's like that without all that energy. You don't have that like, it's not, you're not like geeking. It's more of like a soft like, oh yeah, that doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. And like it's like the universe is like picking you up out of your body, and it's just like, oh. Yeah, you're good, man. Don't worry about it. But that back there is not you. And then you realize that you're not really like, you are everything. I know that sounds super like hippy dippy, but there's a reason why a lot of.
I feel you 100%. I guess.
Yeah, it's not like acid where you're being like. I think acid is more like malfunctioning, because what it does is it rearranges your neural pathways. So like that's why you can see color and taste, smell, or. Of course you can taste smell. That's why you can taste color and see smells and shit. Like when you're tripping heavily, because it's literally taking your like wires in your brain and going whoop and just crossing them. That's why you're getting weird hallucinations, because it's a visual like malfunction mixed with like a perceptive neural malfunction, and it's not like that's why it's called acid. It's like lysergic acid is what it technically is that you're taking. But yeah, it's quite interesting. All that stuff is super crazy to me, but I think that it's all done within moderation. Like I don't agree. I've met so many people in my journey that have done way too much, like just way too much. And I mean, way too much is different for every person. I'm not going to be like 10 hits, that's it. But I think that every person that ends up taking psychedelics, I think that there should be a point where you either stop or you never go past a certain point. Like, I mean, if you do it like once a month, I still think that's a lot. If you do it for like 10 years like that, like that's a lot of psychedelics. You have to give your brain time to re-solidify. Because I like to think about it, every time you take a psychedelic, it is your brain becoming soft and malleable again. But if you make something too soft, then it won't ever have like structure and like logic and all that shit. You'll just be like off in the ether, like, oh yeah, everything's great. It's like, lots of things are great, not everything.
I get that.
But yeah,
I also feel like it would in that same vein like make you too impressionable all the time, you know?
Well, that's when you start getting into the paranoia and you're like, everybody hates me, or you're like, the government's out to get me, tinfoil hat type shit. Maybe.
But I guess I'm just like, I'm thinking about, you take a psychedelic and you start thinking hella deep about shit, about basically everything, no matter how much you're tripping visually, you know. But if you're constantly in that mode, I feel like the only reason we get to even like hit those thoughts that quick on that level is because we're malleable, but we also like trust ourselves. So we're like, and we're in a safe environment where there aren't where we aren't overexposed to new ideas and thoughts and things.
You would hope. I mean, that's just if you set yourself up for success. I know plenty of people who don't do that and make a huge mistake. Ugh, that's right. But I know people that like that too. Like I said, it's different for everybody. I know people that are like, I love tripping at music festivals. I'm like, I've done that and that was fun, and then all of a sudden it wasn't fun. Like there was just one time where I was like, this is not fun anymore.
I feel like my I have a friend that just like kind of is, we'll just call him like flagrant with when he decides, or used to be flagrant with when he decides to trip off acid, off shrooms.
Yeah.
So I didn't take anything either of these times, but one time he was off shrooms with me at a music video shoot, and he was off acid with me in a strip club, right? So at the shoot, like the environment's a little more, the ironic part is that the shoot was like in a strip club as well.
Yeah, okay.
But, at the shoot, it was like we were around all of our friends, even though it was my video, like I had a lot of my friends there, and he knows all of them.
Yeah. It was a vibe.
Yeah. So he was chilling, and then like I knew he was on shrooms, but I could also like when I'm in that environment, I'm very like I'm not bossy, but I play the boss's role. So I'm like not on them as in do your job, but I like rotate to everybody, make sure everybody's good.
You're like, all right, this is what's going on. This is what you're doing next, that kind of shit.
Right. So like every time I'm with him, I like as soon as I like lock directions with him, I make sure like my energy is so pure and good and happy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I can tell like sometimes he's there like
in his own head. Yeah.
In his own head, and I'm like, so I try to just pull him out of it, and I could tell that it worked. But then it was also funny because like in the obviously we talk about how acid and shrooms is different, and when we were in the strip club, we sitting there, it's me and him and then two of our other friends, and we sitting there and like we basically all just chilling, talking, eating, and like he's like all retrospective, he's like looking around and shit, and I just look at him like, bro, you good? He's like, I'm him.
I'd be like, yeah, bro, but why?
Exactly. I was like, nah, for sure. Like you are, but how you get there though? You know?
You get it.
And he was like, dog, these bitches ain't shit. Like, I know, bro.
That sounds like exactly like every person ever on psychedelics. But in his head, bro, that shit was like,
bro, it's like blowing his It's like blowing his mind. I'm just imagining it, like, because I had never done psychedelics at that time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But then when I did mushrooms, I was like, oh,
I get that. I got it. Yeah. Bro, that's hilarious. No, that shit was hilarious. I get it though, man. Like yeah. Like I'll just say.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna finish one last thing because I just remembered this. I watched him like stare at this dude who was like paying for like a dance in the back room, right? And he's like the dancer comes up to him. The dude like thumbing through his money and like stuffs it in her shit. And I just hear one word come out of his mouth. He goes, "Chump." I'm like, what the fuck?
He's like sitting there talking shit. What the fuck?
I was like, why are we here? Like,
but what are you doing?
No, but I ain't gonna lie. That was my first and only time I'm ever doing that shit unless I'm getting paid for that reason. I just didn't stare somebody down and go chump. But I felt that too. It was just hilarious. Like,
dude, my one and only strip club experience that I can even remember or even other than like delivering a pizza when I was younger. I delivered a pizza into a strip club and I was like, oh my god, but it was during the day, the sun was still up and there was like one girl working and it was like one dude and I'm like, okay, y'all got some weird thing going on here.
Right.
But then I went to my friends when I hung out with a bunch of DJs, like, oh, my homie's DJing at a strip club, we're gonna go. And I was like, all right, that sounds cool. I thought it would be like good, dance music because we all like the same style of music, and then there'd be girls there, and I was like, whatever. And for some reason, I had cash in my pocket, and it was not because I had any intention of. I think I had like just cashed a check or something because I was like, yeah, you have to be 18. I was like barely 18. I was like,
okay,
just turned 18, and I didn't even have direct deposit set up. I think I just cashed my check for the week, and it was like $120. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll spend like $20 on a drink. We'll be good to go. If a girl asks me for a dance, I'm going to be like, nah, I don't want that. So a girl comes up to me and she's like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just chilling. And she's like, oh, you want to dance? I was like, no, I'm good. She's like, oh, come on. I'll give you a lap dance for free. And I was like, for free? And she's like, yeah, for free. I was like, okay.
Right.
So we went to the back, and then she like gives me a dance, and then like it was I don't even think it was the full song. I think it was like a minute 50, and then she turns on and she's like, all right, that'll be $20. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she was like, oh yeah, no. So she literally charged me for that, and then she was like, yeah, and then she somehow got another 20 out of me, and then she was like, all right, let's go get a drink from the bar. And dude, I don't know why I thought this was a thing. In my brain, I was like, oh, she's going to buy me a drink. Like, what the fuck? I was like, we get to the bar and she was like, all right, two Patron shots. I was like, oh, okay, let's go. And then they give them out and she was like, all right, that'll be $40. I'm like, I'm not.
That's your whole week.
That's my whole week, bro. That was it. And then she was like, do you want another dance? I was like, I need you to get as far away from me as possible right now. You just fucking robbed me, bro. Get the fuck out of here. I was so mad. And then everyone's like, no, she's just good at her job. I was like, I ain't hating the player. I hate the game. That's why I'm never going to play. Right.
My friend would have looked at you like chump.
Yeah, I would have looked at me like chump. Like, get out of... First of all, I didn't belong in there. I'll tell you that much right now. Yeah. I don't belong in a few places. Jail and strip clubs are two main ones. It's just not... I don't know. It's weird, man. I've never been a person that's like, titties! Let me pay you for them titties.
Right. It's so weird to just conceive. And, like, the fact that they're always packed.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like, okay, I get it. I enjoy beautiful women too. I think every male and a lot of females do, but I don't understand the pang. I really don't. You can't explain it to me.
My perspective will definitely. I feel like it will change when. Well, it'll obviously be different if I'm like paid to go perform at a strip club. That's very different. But like, I feel like my perspective on going would change. Two things would have to be necessary. One, I'd need to have like enough money to the point where whatever I feel like throwing that night is literally like nothing to me.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, 10 racks, whatever. Or, yeah,
paying for this experience. I'm just supporting these people. You know what I mean? And like, I'd also have to go with a whole bunch of girls who also want to go, because I'm not just gonna be like with a pack of dudes today. Like, we're not doing that. You know?
Hey, girl, come hang out with me and my bros. We got a fucking sixer back at the house. Let's go. Dude, okay, here's the thing though. There is one strip club that you have to go to if you ever get the chance, and this is for everybody listening.
Magic City.
I've never been to Magic City. I probably need to go there too. I know about the Magic City Super Bowl night. I saw the picture. I was like, that is ludicrous. But the coolest experience I've had at a strip club was at 11 in Miami.
Okay.
So 11, a lot of rappers rap about it. I know G-Eazy has a line about it, and there's a couple others who rap about it. And there's a reason. It's literally like a Miami nightclub, but there instead of a dance floor, it has 2-story floor-to-ceiling poles, and they're like different tiers. And that's it. There's just like a big circle, and then there's a DJ booth with like lights and cryo and like all these LEDs and these panels and stuff. So it's like a Miami nightclub, but like I said, instead of the dance floor, there's just a bunch of strippers on like a massive stage with like 3 poles, and they go really high. Like I said, it's 2 stories, so they're going way up there. And
they have ropes, or are they just like...
No, they're just just climbing. And then they have, but here's the crazier part is that they have people that are like huge play there, like massive. Like G-Eazy actually has performed there, and then I've been there with a bunch of like DJs, because here's the other cool part. 11 is right next to Space Miami. Space Miami is like a big nightclub as well. So you get out of Space at like 4 in the morning, and then you go to 11, which the cover is only $11, and then you go in there and see like all these crazy artists, and then you see all these girls. But the one thing I want to say about it is those girls, I don't know if anyone knows this about strippers, but strippers are contract workers. Like they have a 1099 like any other salesperson. So they're basically they're salespeople. They're there to make money, if you didn't know that. But they basically are professionals. I saw a girl walk up to a guy, tell him to take his wallet out, looked at his wallet, grabbed the money out, saw how much he had, put it back in, handed it to him, and walked away. Straight savage mode. She was like, "You don't have enough to afford me." I was like, God damn, only in Miami can you say that shit. But yeah, that was like they were like really aggressive. Like I was there with my wife, and there was like 2 or 3 times that they were like, "Hey, you guys want to dance?" And we're like, "Nah, we're good. I'm good, thanks." Nothing against it. I don't hate, like I said, I don't hate the hustle. The game is not for me. I've never cared to play.
This stripper tried to guilt trip me and tell me that her dad died that same day.
Yo, what?
So I would pay her when she got up on stage. She's like, "When I get up on stage, you're gonna throw money." I was like, nah, you haven't impressed me. And she's like, my dad, like, I didn't even really want to. Never mind.
I would be like, are you gonna cry though? Because if you're gonna cry, that might be something worth paying for. But right now, I'm not that enthused.
It wasn't that heartless, bro. I wasn't gonna do it. But no, I was like,
you're in a strip club, bro. Like what? I have some respect for this female. Okay, she's working real hard.
I believed her in the moment. I still didn't pay nothing, but I believed her in the moment.
That makes you a shitty person if you believed her and you still didn't pay her.
No, it doesn't, because I stick to my word.
Okay, that's fair. You weren't impressed.
I told her dead in her face. I'm like, I'm not about to pay you. She's like, didn't tip me. I'm like, I'm not about to do that either. And she's like, why? I'm like, it's against my principles.
Why? Like, I'm just here with friends. Can I just enjoy my beverage in peace?
Right.
Although,
my friend over there thinking he's him, and like, I just want to appease that. You know,
I'm babysitting my friend over here. Okay, we're good.
I forgot where I was because again, it was my first time in there. I tried to ask just one of the girls like for her number on some party shit. And she was like, "What?" I was like, "My bad."
I'd do that shit. I'd be like fucked up in the back and be like, "All right, girl. So like, what are you doing after this? Where are we going?"
Right. She's like, "Huh?"
I'm sorry. Are you trying to pick me up? Oh shit!
She just hit me with the straight up. I'm a stripper. I'm like, I didn't even ask none of that. But okay, like this no more.
I mean, I would have been like, duh, we're at a strip club.
Right.
And I'm a soldier on Call of Duty. I'm just talking about shit that doesn't matter, I guess.
Man, that's not slick. That's
I wasn't trying to be slick. I was trying to get her to walk away. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Motherfucker.
No,
but for real though, I would have said some shit like that. That was the level of my game as a youngin, as a jit, as they say.
I could see that.
Bro, I had zero game as a jit.
I feel like it probably worked for you though.
It did until like college. Then it was just like, oh, you're a DJ? Oh my god. And then when they found someone else, they're like, oh yeah, I'm busy. I'm like, bitch, what?
Right.
And then we end up at the same club, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? That's happened 3 times, literally 3 times. And I'm like, what? Didn't you say you were busy? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, who's that? And they're like, my friend. I was like, yeah, bet. They're like, I can still come over after, right? I'm like, nah, you good? Nah, you good?
No, it's like, so were you just there, or were you DJing those nights?
Both. One night I was DJing, and the other night that one was stupid. I was like, you knew I was gonna be here. This is my DJ. I'm on the flyer, you dumb bitch. But then I later found out it was on purpose because she's a hoe like that. I'm not naming any names, but yeah, that's how Florida goes, you know. By the way, speaking of Florida, you need to check out a rapper called Lil Toe.
You gonna play him right now?
I could, but I think it would take us down for copyright, which is unfortunate.
Do we have any submissions over the last day?
No, I looked. It's only been 2 days.
Yeah, I figured. Have you seen this new this NPC thing?
M with it, like Mary, MPC?
No, I'm sorry. N.
Like non-playable character?
Like the people who are going live and doing that.
Did you see that shit on Snapchat?
I don't have Snapchat.
Oh, okay. That's funny though, but I've seen it on TikTok where they go live and they act like NPCs, and then they when you pay them, they do certain like phrases and shit.
Yeah, bro.
It's weird.
It's weird as fuck. I saw one. Well, there's this one lady who like is like the pioneer of it, right? And she's like convinced all these other people, this Pinky Doll person.
Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about.
You know? But I saw one, right? And it's like this dude, he's basically holding back a laugh the whole time. So he's on there like doing this thing. He's like moving like this, right? just waiting and like saying everything as he's getting gifts. And every time he laughs, he just like goes like this to laugh real quick, and he just comes back.
He'll never laugh.
No, he just can't laugh, and all the comments are like, "Bro, stop holding it in," and he'll read it and just like go off camera. But he only had like the type of gifts that you could send him were like, so he's a black guy, and the only gifts you could send him was chicken wings and watermelons. He had it set that way. Right?
That's pretty smart. That is really smart.
He would get the chicken wing. I just watched one of them. He would just try not to laugh. He'd come back in, he'd get the chicken wing, and be like, "Oh, that's deliciously racially motivated," and he'd just like keep going.
God. Oh, the internet is crazy.
These people are too smart for me. These people is marketing geniuses. I can't do this.
But like, but they make money. That's the thing. I can't hate it. I can't hate it.
Crazy money.
Okay, speaking of crazy, ridiculous marketing techniques, have you seen how people do like the split screen shit?
No.
So you basically you have what's it called? You have a split screen where it's the top of the screen is your video, and then the bottom of the screen is a completely different video, like Maze Runner or like a phone game.
Oh yes, yeah, I've seen a whole bunch of that. Yeah.
So apparently that's becoming like a trend on Instagram now, because it's been a trend on Instagram forever. Like everybody does it, but it's so successful that people are starting to do it now on Instagram. I've seen it.
You mean it's been a trend on TikTok, now people are bringing it to Instagram?
Yeah, which is crazy to me, because once it reaches Instagram, that means it's like huge. That's massive, because Instagram gets everything like months after TikTok.
You're right. I see it mostly on YouTube Shorts.
True. Yeah, Facebook Shorts too, which is technically Reels, but yeah, I've seen a couple funny like meme videos where people are like talking to each other, and then the person starts losing interest, and they're like, "Oh, sorry," and they hold up Maze Runner. So anyway, as I was saying, and the person's like, we're that distracted, we need fucking.
That's hilarious. I mean, is that the point of it?
So that's where we're at in terms of people. So like as a person who, wow, I can't think, as a content creator and following people that create content and stuff like that, I've found that there is a bigger and bigger need for not only shock and like awe, as it's always been, but more even so about the shortness and the quickness and the snappiness. Like people really don't have the attention. Like I had someone be like, "Your video's too long," and I was like, it's 28 seconds. They're like, "No one's gonna watch 28 seconds." I'm like, "You'll doom scroll for 13 hours, but you won't watch 20." I don't believe that. And then I look at my stats and I'm like, shit, I think that might be right. But like, I don't care. I'm not going to not do it, because I know that there are 1,000 people plus that are watching, and they're like, hell yeah. Because I'm someone that watches something for a minute and a half if I have to. Shit, I'll watch it twice.
If it's important to you, then yeah. But I feel like I definitely agree with that if you're following, like if you're trying to get the algorithm on your side, you know? Like I try to keep everything, all of my reels to 30 or less. But that's still like a good amount of time. Like this trailer I just posted for this music video is 8 seconds long.
Do you know you know the best way to do that? I'm sure you already do, but for anyone who doesn't, split it into 2. It sounds weird, but just do it.
You mean like post, like 2 posts a slider type of thing?
No, but don't even do them back to back. Just like one post. Like do do it in chunks. Like if let's say you have a 28-second video, like I just said, instead of making it, like figure out how you can split it in 2. How you can make like part 1 and part 2 of the same video, so that people come back to it. Or it's not necessarily designed for the people to come back tomorrow. It's not supposed to be like, oh, come back tomorrow for part 2, because they're not going to come back tomorrow. They're just going to keep scrolling. But for the people that land on your page and keep scrolling on your videos, that keeps them engaged, and that adds more to your stats. It's literally doubling your engagement for the same amount of content.
Right. Makes sense.
So like if you're going through your videos, for example, and you're looking for content to post that's not music related, it's a little bit different based on your niche, obviously. But if you have a video that's like split in 2, you could literally just cut it in half and then just post one and then post the other half. Because if they're like, where's the other half? You're like, it's posted. It's the second video. I mean, if you wanted to post like one after the other for the first time, you could, but the thing about social media is that nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. And the ones that do are they're different, man. Do you have anyone on your, I know we're like at different levels in terms of our followers, but I think that it goes for anyone who's in the creative space or anyone who's like doing their own thing, really. Do you ever get people that like talk shit on your comments?
Yeah. Probably not as much as you, but yeah.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means you have a lot more.
What are you trying to say? People talk shit all the time. You suck. I'd imagine there's a bunch of shit on yours, but why? Yeah, no. No, I'm just curious. Just because, like, I only asked because I had a hater come back. It was beautiful. Like a hater from like months ago that like literally went back and forth with me in the comments. I don't like argue with trolls and haters and like bullshit, but I'll entertain them. That's fun to me.
I like entertaining it. I like liking the comment and leaving it alone.
Well, that'll be my last thing I do. But the first thing I do is I make them confused and I make them question all of their reality if I can. That's my goal, is to make them be like, what did I just get into? Like it's kind of like the advice of if you're ever getting into a fight and you think you're going to lose, just act crazy. Like just fucking rip your shirt off and get naked and just like run in circles and go, wow, because no one's going to fight somebody that does that. Like what? Because they're going to think you're crazy, right?
I'm not saying no. I'm not denying it.
So same thing.
It was weird to me. I get more of those types of comments. I'll be them not too frequent. There's a good amount of them on a frequent basis. I'll get them on the platforms that I have less following on. Like I'll get
that's weird.
I'll get more like hate comments on, and it's usually like it's always everybody that does that is like unnecessary, but it's especially unnecessary stuff. It's like I get hate comments not because I'm necessarily talking about anything controversial. It's because like somebody felt a way about the very niche way or the very niche thing that I did in that video, or like the way I said a word, or some shit like that.
Why'd you say it like that?
Right, like I'll have a YouTube, like I have 70 something subscribers on YouTube, and I'll know that a YouTube video got 1K plus views, like shorts, if it got 1K plus views, if I get a hate comment on it. Like that's like my marker. I'm like, oh, they mad, I got these.
That's what I've always, and that's kind of my point when it comes to anybody who ever has to deal with that. Just understand it's a projection. It has nothing to do with you, because it can't, because that person doesn't know you. Yeah, I took it personally when I first got involved in social media. I used to genuinely take it because I come from the background of being bullied, and I know that everybody was bullied in their back. Oh, I was bullied, but no, like for real. I was an emo kid for real, because I life sucked. People picked on me a lot for the way that I dressed, for the way that I looked, because I was a tall, gangly, white, skinny kid that I still kind of am. But yeah, super. But the thing is like when you don't know who you are, which is every kid in high school, it's really hard to have confidence in just at all in life. Like, how do you have confidence when you're a kid if you don't play sports? You're not a part of any clubs, and you're not that great at school, and you have like 2 friends that you can call on any weekday. Like, it's not a great feeling. And then on top of that, your teachers are like, you're dumb. And I'm like, but I'm gifted. And they're like, yeah, but you're dumb gifted. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? They're like, you're bad at it. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing, but okay. I literally got report card. I got written up, like a referral is what they're called, back in elementary school. And I also got what's called a personal best in the same day. And they both they're the opposite of each other. Like a personal best is like when you do something really good and they send you to the principal's office for like a high five and a sticker type shit. And I went in and they were like, what are you doing here? Don't tell me you're back for another referral. I was like, nah, I got a personal best. They're like, you're joking, right? And I was like, nope. They're like, you literally got sent to the principal's office for disciplinary action, and then less than 2 hours later you're back because you went above and beyond. I'm like, that's just, and that has been the theme of my life ever since. It's just like, people are like, you suck. I'm like, but I don't. And they're like, yeah, but I think so. I'm like, what? Okay. And then someone else is like, you're good. I'm like, I know, right? And that's been my life.
Bro, preach, bro.
I know that's a lot of people, but I know that's also not a lot of people. I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck? That's weird. My teachers love me. I don't know, dude. My mom for the longest time was like, "What are you saying in school that makes these teachers like?" Because I used to get in school suspension, like random stuff, and it would be for like, "Oh, you left class early." I'm like, "The bell rang. What are you talking about?" Weird shit like that. But yeah, that's
I didn't get the crazy amount of it, but I know I was there.
I mean, yeah, I was also in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, I just wanted to fit in, so I'd hang out with the wrong people. That's another bad thing that happens to kids, and I feel bad. Like you hang out with the wrong crowd because you just want to fit in, and the people that accept you are the ones that'll like use you. I know that's like super like dark and shit, but that's like what bullies are. I don't know what bullies are now though. I've heard really crazy shit about kids these days. Whew, I wouldn't want to be a kid this day. Like this day and age, fuck that. Like you.
There's some. I feel like they're personal.
Oh, they're savages, and they're savages at like 5. They're like, fuck you, I'll kill your family. You're like, what the fuck?
Right?
Wow.
I kind of envision what bullying was like when I was in school. Because, I mean, I don't know. Okay, let me think about it. There was definitely just like, I remember being like ran around the playground by this big kid in like at super elementary school, you know, just because I think I stole his hat or something. You know, just,
That checks out.
basically something like that. But bullying. There was a lot of like mental shit, you know, like kids don't know when to stop. So I remember, I don't think it happened to me. I don't have this memory isn't it happening to me, but I remember like this kid I knew who was considered like fucking, I don't know what grade this was, 3rd or 4th grade, like considered the popular kid.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The only one with a girlfriend, right? And right. And he's like decided to pick on this one kid, and like obviously everybody's agreeing with him because he's the popular kid.
Yeah.
He just like keeps going. He just keeps going. You know what I mean? It's like he's just saying shit. I don't even remember what he's saying. I just remember him not letting up until the kid literally ran away. You know?
Ran away. I thought it was gonna.
No, he ran away from words. I was like, oh, it's a lot of words. It's harmful.
I mean, I get it. I thought that was gonna go the exact opposite way. I thought you were gonna be like, and then he decked his face, and his face was broken. I would have been like, hell yeah.
I would have said that too, but that's how fucking crucial the words were. I don't remember what they were, but I remember it was
That's some hardcore shit, man.
In high school, there was a shit ton of bullying. I just had to reflect on that for a second because I dissociated from it, motherfucker, so much.
Oh my god, yeah.
Bro, not to me because I was always like I wouldn't call myself popular in high school, but I was known. You know what I mean? Like the popular kids and the lame kids all knew me, not knew me, but knew of me. And I was just like, I would stick to myself, my little circle, and my little girl, whoever that was, and I'm just moving. Like I wasn't from Burbank, so like they didn't know me from a kid, so they're just like, oh, he's this new kid who just does what he wants.
I was from Orlando, and I went to school in Cocoa Beach. They were like, you didn't grow up here. You didn't go to elementary school here. Who the fuck are you? I'm like, I didn't pick here, okay?
Right, bro. I didn't pick this weird ass shit. Like, so I remember like I would see kids get beat up. I'd see how they treat the special kids like horribly in my school.
Bro, bad, real bad. I saw them literally push one over so hard that he bounced with his head. I was like, yo, what the hell? Like that, and that's how they were back then. Can you imagine?
I'm sorry, guys. I had to hold that one back.
Gnarly.
Man. No, I remember, bro. There was this one kid. I tell this story often. So it's like my friends have this running joke with me that I like hate special ed kids. And I don't at all.
I'm so excited to hear what happened.
It's just funny to me that this is like a known thing amongst my friends. It's like, I don't know, Cloudy just doesn't like special people. I'm like, oh, why?
The fuck?
But no, I mean, so in high school, like, this must have been 10th. It was definitely 10th grade. I met my girlfriend that I had like up until senior year in 10th grade. So me and her, we didn't have any of the same classes, but we had like classes that were close to each other. So this must have been some like 3rd period. We're 3rd floor or whatever. We're like waiting outside of her classroom.
3rd floor? Your school had a staircase?
Oh yeah, bro.
My school was
Oh, yeah.
2,222 kids, and that was 7 through 12, and we had no floors. We just one floor.
7 through 12.
7 through 12, 2,000 kids. That's it. There was only 200 kids in my graduating class. How big was your graduating class? Like thousands?
Yeah, at least 2,000.
That's insane to me, to put that in perspective. Like, how do you even stand out in a place like that? Like, I thought it was hard with 2,000 kids and like 20 kids per class. Like, no.
I don't know, bro. I was just myself. I don't know how to.
But I guess you didn't want to in high school, right? You just wanted to fit in. You didn't want to stand out.
Honestly, no. I didn't care about fitting in because I fit in other places. I felt like I didn't fit in high school, but I was so okay with that because I already thought they was weirdos and I didn't like them. So I didn't mind not fitting in because I didn't like them. I didn't want to fit in. I felt like if I fit in there, I was a weirdo too. So I was like, get away from me, you know. But that's because I had all of my friends back where I lived because I went to high school in the Valley, but I lived in Hollywood, so all my friends were in Hollywood, and like my closest friend went to Beverly Hills High School, so that would be like I spent time with him and over in like Beverly and like the Fairfax area and all that stuff during high school. So when I would go to school, they'd be like the select people I fuck with. But that's why I was always so like, it's a weird phrase to say, but I'll just say like girlfriend oriented in high school because I just wanted to latch on to my person and just leave the rest of these fuckers alone. You know?
That's a really good way to put it. I did the same thing. I had a girlfriend for like a year and a half, so it would be like school year and then like summer and then we'd break up and then like the new school year. I had a new girlfriend typically.
Oh, bro, I'm telling you, bro. The way to go.
It worked out really well. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Hey, no problem with that.
There was like, no, I mean, I didn't feel like I didn't stand out. Like I knew people knew me, but I also know I wasn't like the most known person because I didn't care about being that. And I also didn't like spend time up there. I didn't care to like be around people and hang with the popular kids. Like I had all my little like I could have had the most popular girl in school, and then she saw me kissing my ex, and that whole I was like
that's so much bullshit, man.
I was always off to the side, like halfway in and halfway not. But what's the word? Bro, my graduating class, like I'm sitting there for like 2 hours, bro, just listening to the names. I sat in the wrong place, which is hilarious. Like I sat in the wrong seat like during my graduation. So when they called my name, I like ran around like.
Fucking legend.
But no,
that's epic. So when's Time Kills music video come out?
Tomorrow after like 6 p.m. my time.
It's fucking dope, dude. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited. I think this is gonna be the best one I have out.
Better than the last one? Better than shit, what was that one I just said was good? Like, what is it?
No More Losses.
No More Losses. Yeah, you think it's better than that one?
I do, just because it's makes more sense. Like that video was great, but I know
exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Like I think this one is even better as far as just being digestible. Some
videos are just aesthetically entertaining, while some are more like a message and a story. And
I think this is both.
Cool.
Which I like it. Yeah.
That's dope.
It's interesting though. Like I mean, I'm not really like this is a minor complaint. Not even a complaint. I don't even classify it as that. It's just like,
critique.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm debating right now if I want to speak on this.
You can plead the fifth. It's all right. You don't have to say shit.
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards.
No, what's happening? No, what? Oh, sorry, I clicked something. That was weird. Anyway.
No, I'm very excited. I'm also, this is on the other end of things. I feel like I've been slow with recording music, and I need to record a lot more because I need to send out opens because I have a tape coming, and I need to like upload it to DSPs, and I want my features back on time. So this whole thing, and I haven't even sent any features out because I don't have any fucking opens because I haven't been recording, and it's stressing me out a little bit because I'm not sure why my headspace is in the place. Like I have ideas, but like even when I fix the things that I feel like it's centered around, my headspace doesn't return. Maybe because those things linger, or like subconsciously or something like that, But I don't know. I feel like it's fucked up too because I'm not like a typical artist where I like record out of angst. I need life to be good to make music.
I was gonna say, why don't you go do something that has nothing to do with music? Go drive some go-karts or shit. Like, go do some non-normal shit that you're not used to. Like, I don't know. Like, go to an arcade, play some fucking arcade games or something, or like go out. Like, I don't know. The way that I find that I get shaken up is I do something that I maybe not isn't brand new to me, so I'm not gonna like pick up a brand new hobby because that's a lot of work. But I think like doing something that maybe you used to do and you don't do so much anymore, like go ride a bike somewhere or go ride a skateboard somewhere or like just go out in nature. The thing that you have to do with your brain is you have to allow your brain time to think. Like we're talking about, you sit and kind of let your brain like digest, and that's meditation for you. I think that doing that, but activity wise, so finding something you can do, even if it's just going to the beach and just like, I don't know, playing volleyball or something, like doing something that's engaging physically but also mentally, to where it takes you completely out of here, like out of this world in a sense where you exist here, because I think that'll give your brain enough time to kind of shake itself out of this pattern. Because that's what for me personally, I'm obviously can only speak from my perspective, but I find that when I get in that headspace and I can't get it to like go back to when life is good, so to speak, because I'm a versatile artist in the sense of like I figured out how to record from, well, I've always recorded from angst, but I've figured out how to record with good as well, and that has shown me that it just takes being able to first know what puts you in that headspace and then going to that. So I know that if I need to, well, life pisses me off a lot. Not in the sense of like, oh, I'm angry, but life gets pretty frustrating sometimes, especially like I was saying before, corporate America in today's life is awful in some cases. But like I'm blessed though too. So that's the other thing is I think it's about putting yourself in that headspace and figuring out what puts yourself in that headspace. Have you ever, this is a kind of a segue, but it makes sense. Have you ever tried a hyperbaric chamber, or what they call a sensory deprivation chamber?
No. I know all about it.
You should try it. It's crazy. So they did one on Lil Dicky. Dave, you ever watch that show?
Yeah, I haven't seen the new season yet.
Oh, you gotta watch it. So I don't know. Well, he had a third season we just finished. So the second season, I think, is when he does the chamber thing. I did one. So it was my wife actually got it for me for my birthday or Christmas, because Joe Rogan talks about it, because he has one, and I used to listen to Joe Rogan's podcast all the time, like every day, religiously to and from work. So I was like, oh, it sounds so cool. Like I would always want to do it. So she bought me like a gift card or whatever, and I went and did it, and then I ended up buying 2 more sessions, and I did a total of like 3 sessions, and I did an hour and a half. Most people are like, oh, you can do 30 minutes and be fine for your first time. I'm like, no, I'm doing it all the way. And it was, because for me, I know myself, it took me about 30 minutes to get settled, and then that second 30 minutes was like the deepness, and then the third like half hour was just like me like kind of processing everything that I had just thought about. But really it's cool because it literally takes you out of your body, in the sense of not quite like psychedelics, but because the water's the same temperature as your body, you don't feel your like skin, and then you put in earplugs so you don't hear anything but your breath, and then it's completely dark so you can't see anything even if you open your eyes, and you're just floating, so your body's not touching anything. But it's only like this deep of water, but the water's so thick. That's the other thing too, is you have to rinse off afterwards, because the water's so thick. It's like you sit on top of it. It's like jelly. It's crazy. But yeah, it's some futuristic shit. But if you've never sat with your thoughts like on that level, it truly is. I won't say that it's like life changing in the sense that it like, oh, you'll come up with so much. But I think it really allows you to reset everything, because there's nothing like. Nothing but your thoughts, but that eventually will also wear itself out, because your brain can only go for so long, and we have like so many distractions in normal life that when you remove those distractions, it's the same as going out into like a cabin in the woods and being stuck with no Wi-Fi and no TV and just being stuck.
You know what? I do spend, like, obviously I'm not in the sensory deprivation tank, so there are physical distractions around me. But I do make a point of, when I need to, on a daily basis. Some days I spend much longer on this than others, depending on how much I need to process, and how certain I am in my decision making on that day. But I will like turn everything off and just sit until I get it, or just walk around or walk outside or just go, like, I kind of be with myself and remove everything else. Sometimes I'm honestly just sitting in this room, bro, and I'll just like, I'll talk to myself for like 2 hours. But like, and I know I look crazy, which is the funniest part. But I think what you're saying, I like 1,000,000% understand the value of it and the appeal of it. I feel like I would probably even get something out of it, but maybe less than somebody who never does this.
Yeah.
Never like sit.
Well,
Yeah.
so I brought that up just because I think it's a way to reset your brain, and it's more of a fun topic that I have never talked about on this before. But also, back to what you were talking about you're the type of artist that records when life is good. When you find what makes you happy, whether it's like going out to dinner with your girl, or like, even if it,
I know what you're about. I don't know what you're about to say, but I know the direction you're going in, and I want you to be able to give me.
Well, no, go ahead and say what you're thinking. I'm saying, because I'm curious.
Well, I actually don't know what you're saying, but I want to rephrase it, because I feel like you're going in a direction that I'm not from words that I didn't really mean. So
Okay.
I want to rephrase.
All right, go ahead.
I can record when life is bad, and I can record when life is good. I can't record when I feel uncertain. If things are certainly fucked, I can talk about it. And if things are certainly good and I know what I'm doing in this moment, I can talk about that. And I feel good about it.
Okay.
Being certain about how I decided on a thing, or I might have done a thing and still not know exactly if I made the right choice and why, or if I'm treating this person good or treating this person bad and why I'm doing it, or treating myself bad or good, or why I'm doing, like, if there's a big why somewhere, that's what makes it difficult, because then I can't. For me, it's hard for me to go on there, because when I write, or not when I write, but when I make music, writing or punching in, I feel like I'm telling you, I speak the truth in my music, and I feel like I'm giving people with every song, it's like not advice, but a strong perspective of knowing this is me, and this is what I consider right, and here's why, and here's how I operate in this circumstance that the song describes.
Right.
And
okay.
when I have it there, it's hard for me to do that.
That makes a lot of sense, though. I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'm glad that you kind of steered me in a little bit different of a direction. However, the advice actually still pretty much works, but I can kind of switch it. So the one thing I'll say is that just reminds me of people that go to the studio and turn up to record, because that's what makes them happy, and that's what makes them feel confident. And I think we've talked about this before, about sometimes substances will make you feel some type of way, but I don't think that's a good thing to lean on as an artist. But that's just a good example of how to kind of like hack the session. But I think that there's healthier ways to do that exact same thing. So for example, like if you find something that you like to do, and that thing can, even if you're not certain about other things in life, that thing that you do or used to do, I don't know, for me, I can only speak for myself again, but there are a handful of activities. Like for me, it's skateboarding. Like if I grab my skateboard and just start skating down the street, there may be things that are uncertain, but like just hearing the skateboard and like being outside and like that stuff, that for me takes me so far out of the realm of what matters and what doesn't, because it's just me and the skateboard. It's just like me in nature, so to speak. And there's nothing else for me to really like. I can sit and think about it, but if you're intentional, so that I think that's the key that I haven't really like said yet, is that if you're intentional about the activity that you choose that will help you change your mood or get into a mood that you can feel confident in life at that moment, that's what I think is the valuable takeaway, is finding that activity or whatever it is. So some people meditate, some people turn up and drink, some people will smoke, some people will like, I don't know, they'll just go like dance, they'll have like a ritual. It's about having something that you can go to, whatever it is, as long as it's somewhat healthy and not detrimental financially in any way, that allows you to be free as an artist. And that freedom is just disconnecting from reality, the real world, or like your problems, whatever you want to call it, like disconnecting from whatever baggage that you have and allowing you to be free as an artist in that moment, and allowing yourself to be okay with picking it up on the way back out. Because a lot of people are like, oh, just leave the baggage at the door and never pick it back up, just have a party and forget that life sucks. No, dude, life sucks, we get it. And there are things that make me uncertain, and I'm not just going to let it go because like this is my life, like I'm not going to do that. But if I want to record and I'm serious about it, I owe it to myself to leave that baggage at the door and give myself the freedom to pick it up on the way out, because it's going to be there when I leave. Like whatever decision it is that you have to make, or that you're uncertain about, or that whatever thing is going on, that thing is going to be uncertain an hour from now and 2 hours from now. So just take the 2 hours that you want, and you know what? Schedule it for later, bro. That's a really good thing to do. Have you ever heard the term scheduling your worries? If you got shit that you're worried about, schedule it for later and then see how you feel, because it's just your brain like, you got to do it, and you're like, all right, I got you, fam. Hold up.
I told you before, but I feel like I can do things. I can do things that don't require pulling from my soul, so to speak, when there are worries. But music is the most pure form of creation to me that I have in my life, and it's hard. I don't think I can leave that baggage there, because I can't. Like I could easily do what you're talking about if I had to go like, I don't know, make a Facebook manager.
Oh well, yeah, all that shit. But even as a creative, you don't feel like you're able to truly disconnect from that which, I don't want to say that holds you back, but that which like burdens you, like that uncertainty, or that like energy that you don't, that's preventing you from feeling confident. You don't think that there's a way for you to disconnect from that, even temporarily? Because again, it's not about getting rid of it. It's about just temporarily disconnecting on a subconscious level that allows you to be you.
Not in that environment.
That's crazy.
I can still be me.
No, but I'm saying like be you as an artist, like be free. And okay, so here's the other thing is, that's okay. Like you don't have to be that like artist all the time. And like I know you started by saying like you want to be doing more and all that stuff, but I think that just like worry, having that sense of like need to do more almost devalues that which you're doing in the moment and that which you've already done. And I mean that in the sense of, if you're so focused on like, I got to get this done, and this I do this all the time, like, oh, I got to get this done, I got to do more music, yada yada yada. There's always more to do. It's super easy to be down on ourselves as creatives, especially when we have, like you said, features, you have all this stuff. But it's, at the end of the day, you have to realize that it's really one of those things that you can't force. And the more you allow yourself to be, whether that be uncertain or upset or happy, just not really that happy, like whatever it is, the more you allow yourself to be that, I find that as you practice that consciously, it'll then imprint itself in your subconscious and allow you to be less connected to your life in that regard when you need to be. And I think it's a practice like meditation or like anything else. Like I think that just like those monks that are able to separate themselves from pain and you can kick them right in the balls and they don't feel it, I think that you can do that with your emotions and your whatever we're labeling it as. But it's going to be a practice, right? So it's working through that and in a conscious mindset, but still seeing small improvements in your ability to work through it.
Right.
But I don't know. For whatever that's worth, I'm just rambling now.
It's all right. I'm trying to like envision doing what you're talking about. Because the thing, okay, it's a weird thing, but I like. How to put this? I've graduated from that in a sense because I feel like I used to do that a lot in life, both when I wanted to make music and when I wanted to make money and do everything else in between.
Okay.
I didn't operate on emotion. I was
Hmm.
I was fully able to do what you're talking about right now. And once I found more spiritual connection in life, I understood the importance of my emotion as far as what they mean. So I don't necessarily now move. I know I don't move off of emotion, but I understand the importance of them in that if there is an emotion that I don't like, it's attached to a thing in my life that I need to assess. And
Hmm.
I can avoid it, I can assess it and think my way out of it usually and then make that black and white adjustment. But I can't just sit with the fucked up emotion without having thought about it and made the adjustment, making the adjustment, or at least coming to an understanding of that feeling, either accepting it or making the adjustment because I couldn't accept it.
So that part right there, that's the practice. So not so much the after that, but the practice of finding a way to the separation. Like not like you're connected with it, but still it's almost like if you ever watched Dragon Ball Z, I don't know if you're like an anime kid, but like you just like connecting to your inner power. Like Mortal Kombat's another example, but when you're able to harness the like, because I hear what you're saying. It's one thing to be numb and disconnect or disconnect from your emotions and not be that way, but then living in your emotions, like being spiritually connected, being emotional, like actually being emotional and being connected. It's hard, and I think that what ends up needing to happen, and this again is just my perspective, is using the emotions you have when you have them and then building off of that. So when you're feeling uncertain, write about uncertainty. When you're feeling extremely happy about something, write about that, and using the emotion you have instead of trying to force it into a box like, oh, I want to write about this vibe, then I don't know if I don't know if that's what you're saying particularly, but I feel like that's kind of a way to still harness your emotions without like you're saying, if you feel like something has to get done, that tension.
Yeah. No, well, no, it has nothing to do with the tension, bro. It's like because I'll try and do what you're talking about, and it'll work. I can make music, but I don't like it.
Oh
I
well,
don't like it.
who gives a shit what you
like
think? It's not about you.
Okay, but my music is about me.
The music, you don't own your music. Your fans own your music. You're just a fucking pawn. Shut up, monkey. Dance, make music that I like. I don't give a shit how you feel. Well, so okay. Well, then if that's how you really feel, though. But honestly, though, if that's how you feel, then why does it really bother you that you're not doing more?
It's less about that. Like that is a fact, but that fact is not what's stopping me from making the music. What I'm saying is other things in my life that make me feel that uncertainty are the reason I am not able to make as much music, and that results in that stress that I started this conversation with. But that stress that I started this conversation with is not the reason why I cannot record in the way I want.
Got it. Well then, you're just a mess, dude. I don't know what to tell you. You need therapy.
Be a teenager, but no, I'm gonna figure it out. It's just like that's where my headspace has been, at least in the last couple of days. And then it doesn't help that I've applied that pressure on myself, or it doesn't help because that I think that is good. That works for me, but it doesn't help that the timing is not wonderful, but it never is.
Yeah, I think that's just a practice thing. It's just hard because correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you've ever lived your life like this before.
What does like this mean?
Well, did you have this? Are you having the same year that you had last year?
Oh, I see. No.
So yeah, you're. In other words, it's almost, it sounds pretty normal. Like it until you start to and it's just about like the longer you live, really, like, because I felt the same way when I was like in my 20s. I was like, things were a lot more ambiguous, but then as I started to experience things more, they became more and more like natural. And like certain life experiences, after you have them once, twice, three times, you're like, wait a second, this is a repetitive thing. And then you start to figure it out. And I think that that's what true wisdom is just either going through it or being around something long enough to understand it to where it doesn't impact you emotionally, good or bad. And I like, for me, like a perfect example is like homeownership. Like I stressed a lot about like homeownership, and like when things would break on rentals, I'd be like, oh my God. But now like shit will break on my house and I'm like, whatever, dude. It's not that I don't care. It's just that I've learned that there are only so many things in the world that you can that you can care about. And a crack in my wall, or like chipping paint, or like my fucking trees dying, like that I could care about that, and I should care, and I do care. Like, I don't like it, I'm not happy about it, but those are things that are just like, if I get caught up in this, I'm gonna end up in a not so happy place. And so that's allowed me to practice letting go of things that normally bother me. And that's a super simplified example. I know you're talking about more complex life situations and stuff like that, but I think the same concept still applies, that once you've gone through enough pain, once you've gone through enough loss, once you've gone through enough success, like, you just get used to it and you're desensitized to it, and it allows you to remove the emotion from it and not worry about, like, for example, letting people down, or worry about like what people are going to think. And I know that's, again, super like basic, but I think that still communicates the point of like, you just got to keep going through it. It's a practice. It's like, you don't get good at meditation the first time or the second time or the 100th time. You just do it until you die, and you just get better over time. And I think that the same can be said for studio sessions. The same can be said for relationships in your life. The same can be said for like failures and successes, goals, and like all that stuff. Like, the more you go through it, because I don't think that we live in such an infinite world that you're not going to end up in a situation where your path isn't somewhat repetitive with patterns, because that's what humans are based off of. We're creatures of habit. Sure. So after you've been through it enough, and it goes back to like the first time you fly a plane, it's terrifying, but the third time is okay, and then like the 100th time you're like, oh, it's natural. But it's terrifying the first time you do it. Same thing with most things in life. But I think that so in other words, what I'm saying is like, lean into it, embrace it, and like, I'm a huge gamify person. Like, I almost make a game out of it. Like, like when shit hits the fan and like shit gets really like that, or in whatever way you want to say, I'm just like, all right, let's do it. Yeah. And I almost like, and maybe I'm just like a off the wall person, but I find that nothing in life ever is that serious. So it's almost fun to kind of see how well I can do, because like, we live in America, bro. I don't know if you've taken a look around, but you can do a lot before you hit the ground. Like, there's a lot of support, especially when you have like a family and like you're not a criminal and like all this other shit. So like, you at the end of the day, the worst that can happen, other than like obviously loss of life, but that's not what we're talking about, at least not right now. You live enough of life that you realize that life really is short, and you have to just enjoy the moments that you have, and you have to work with the time and feelings you have regardless of how you feel. But that's really hard to put into perspective when there's so much new life going on. And again, it's just like, it's I know 10 years doesn't sound like a huge difference, but I promise you the difference between 19 and 29 is astronomical.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy.
I mean, bro, I think it's a good point. Something I should think about. I feel like part of what makes me the way I am at this age is the fact that I assess life in ways that, like, small things are big. so so everything like, and I like it because it makes me things happen faster. You know, like I in a I don't know how to say this and not sound like weirdly cocky, even though I don't mean it that way at all. But I feel like I get God's messages faster than a lot of people because I assess them in ways that like.
Well, you're listening. Like, most people aren't listening. You're listening, and you're looking for it. You're praying for it. You're actively in a relationship with your God. And only say your God because everyone's God is different. But not everyone's God is different. Everyone's relationship with their God is different. But point being that I absolutely 100% agree with that, and I totally understand where you're coming from, and I agree with it because, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Like, look at your life. I'm not saying that, like, anything other than the fact that you are the person that you think you are, and that's pretty awesome because a lot of people can't say that, but I truly think that when... I don't know. I really think that you're like in a good position, but it's so easy to get caught up in that like meticulous overanalyzing, like you analyze a lot, and that's great, but it almost gets to a point where it's like, what's that? Was that a message? Was that a message?
Yeah, bro.
So you're like, what? I hear something. You're like, no, yeah, no, but you don't. You're good.
So like Jack fucking Skellington, yeah. Yes, bro. That's exactly right. But the thing is, though, everything is a message, and it all makes sense. It all comes together, and every time I think about it and actually am honest about it, it always makes sense. So I can't ever say no, this thing isn't a message. But before you speak, but what I can try to do more of is say, maybe some of these things are a lot of the same message, and I don't need to constantly assess the same thing all the time. I can say, maybe my in your words, I can desensitize to them a bit and wait for the thing that really feels like, because certain messages will like feel the same, but like just a little different, and just that little difference will make me like fully assess it and then come to the same conclusion again, just reaffirm it for myself. So maybe I can desensitize slightly and say I need that difference to feel a little more substantial before I assess, so I don't get caught up, like you're saying, with these meticulous things.
That, my friend, is intuition.
How do you mean? What is intuition?
Doing exactly that. Desensitizing yourself to a point where you're not analyzing each message and coming to the same conclusion, because you're like, wait, I've been here before, which is what I was talking about. Like you're kind of like, we're saying now we're saying the same thing, where it's like you experience it and you're like, oh, this is it, this is okay, and then you just keep like going through it to where there's a giant ass millipede on my screen. YouTube I watch nature shows, and it's usually fish and birds, but this millipede was going crazy. Anyway,
it was actually in your thing, in your office.
No, that'd be crazy. But they do live here. We got scorpions and millipedes and centipedes and all that shit. But not in my house. There's earwigs sometimes around here, which those creep me out. Back to bugs. We made it back to bugs. Good for us. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing your perspective, because I think it helps. It definitely helps me, but I think it helps other people that struggle with that type of mindset, because as a creative and as an artist, it's tough to create when life is lifing. Life loves to get in the way, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, I use it in my music. It's like, yeah, we can definitely make music while life is being life, but to be able to connect to it, be confident to it, and write the message that we want to write, it's like trying to capture lightning in a bottle. It truly is. And that's where we have to like find ways to like work through it and capture maybe not like the whole lightning bolt, but like the beginning of it or like the end of it, or just like being able to live a life that doesn't require us to capture lightning, but we've already got it inside of us, kind of thing. And that I think is like the whole journey of life as a musician, is trying to capture that and have it inside and not have to rely on external or even internal, like in that regard, but rely on like variables where it becomes, because I know there are artists that are like this because I've seen it in real time. They really can go into the studio and write a song like that regardless of the day they're having or whatever, and but it's a masterpiece every time because they have workflows, they have disciplines that they follow, and they've figured out whatever it is that they have to do to get in the right headspace for that time being, and they do what they got to do. Like some people do like a whole ritual. Some people just are like, oh no, I just make sure I'm wearing these shoes and make sure that I'm in this space, and that's awesome for those people that it's that simple. But yeah, I think that you're on a great track, and I think that it's better to overanalyze than underanalyze, just because there's so many nuances in life that can really catch us off guard, and I'm right there with you. However, it's also kind of fun to see how life goes when you just let go for a minute and just like live life and not so much focus on doing life, because life's gonna happen. It's just a matter of finding the flow that allows you to both rest and recuperate and regain stability, and also kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone and shake things up a bit. It's just a practice, man. You know, you get better every day. Every day is a new chance to get better at something. So
that is I mean, you know, there's always a lot of shit going on. There's always that. I feel like sorry, I'm posting this. I feel like you know, deciding factor in a lot of this is going to be how like you said, like it has to happen. You know, like being in the midst of it is what makes it difficult. But when the thing plays itself out, I think it'll, regardless of how it goes, whether or not it goes, and you know whether I made the right decision or the wrong decision. Obviously, I'm gonna do my utmost to make the right one, but I'll still be able to make music about it, whether I make the right or the wrong one. You know, it's just more like in the moment of decision making, I can't also then decide what to talk about. So, but
it's tough. Like I mean, yeah, it's because you're tapped out. You can't. Your brain is a muscle. It can only do so much work.
It was you who told me about the decision fatigue.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't. That when you said that, I was like, yeah. You can either solve a complex emotional problem that you're having in your life, or you can write music, because your brain can't do both in one day. It can, but it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got this, bro. Nothing in life is that serious, man. Nothing. Because, oh shit, I'm gonna butcher this.
Uh-oh.
You ready? Okay. If I'm gonna look it up. I don't want to ruin it, but if you have any closing thoughts, I'm just gonna find this fucking quote.
My closing thoughts are like, I'm a smart guy and so is Rooks, but don't always listen to us. That's my closing thought.
Think for yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
God damn sure I'm not thinking for you.
It will be alright in the end, and if it's not alright, it's not the end.
Aww. Aww.
That's a really good way to just approach life, man. If you're going through it, keep going. If you're going through hell, keep going. Don't stop.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Rest, never quit.
Those look like some weak ass punches. I like the vibe, but they're.
I'm not trying to fucking break my computer, bro.
It was just funny. It was like.
No, bro. Honestly, don't fight me. That's why I have a gun. Bro, if y'all trying to scrap, that's fine. You're gonna beat my ass, and I'm not about it. It hurts. If you've ever been in a fucking fight, good for you. Don't. Yeah. It hurts, bro. People are like, I fight people. I'm like, you're dumb. Unless you're a professional fighter, why? The fuck are you doing?
I'm on some shit where like, bro, I like my likeness is like my money, bro. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, bro. You try to wreck my shit. Do you know how expensive it is to keep this intact? I do.
Bro. Like fucking you damn near put your face on live more than me. You're like this all the time.
Well, not only that, I've split my face open. I've paid money to make sure I have teeth. I've split my face, dude. Yeah, no one did it. I did it to myself. So don't be thinking someone beat my ass. I beat my own ass. All right. I clotheslined myself on a canoe with my mouth open. I was running full speed and I turned a corner and there was a canoe at face level and I was like, Kink! And just fucking clothesline myself. It gets better. Let me just set the stage and then we can roll out. But I was in North Carolina at a camp in the mountains, 250 miles from the nearest dentist, on day 1 of a 7-day camping adventure.
Wonderful.
I'm talking day 1. We were doing the swim test. That's why we were at the canoe. That's why we were at the lake. And they were like, all right, everybody get ready to go fucking unload your tents and get ready for a great week. And I'm like, I just broke my tooth. And they're like, sucks to be you, bro. You're going to have to wait a whole week. So I went a whole week with a split tooth. There's pictures and everything. It was awful. But it gets better. This is my childhood trauma. We're going to unpack it for a second. And then, fast forward, I get home. We get it fixed, right? My parents are like, we're going on a cruise. Get ready. And I'm like, fuck yeah, we're going on a cruise. I'm like 12. We're going on a Disney cruise. My life is the best. Yeah. We wake up to get on the cruise. And I touch my tooth. It broke. My mom's like, tough shit. We have to get to the cruise now. We can't go to the dentist. So I spent the whole 4-day, 3-night cruise with a broken ass tooth, bro.
I mean, at 12, that's fine though. Like, it might have hurt.
Sir, it is. I cared. No. I cared a lot. I cried a lot. My mom's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I don't like it. She's like, yeah, I get it. Are you hurt? I'm like, no, I don't like the way it looks. She's like, okay, you're fine. Yeah, that's trauma, baby. That's what I'm talking about. But no, but it's expensive to keep your mouth intact. So just protect yourself. Wear a mouth guard if you're going to be doing dumb shit.
Yeah, or just buy a gun. Be smart.
Yeah, if you're going to fight people, wear a mouth guard or buy a gun. I don't know. Just don't come for me. I wouldn't.
If you fight people, don't buy a gun because then you just need anger management shit and like you don't need a gun. But if you don't want to fight nobody and you know how to use your brain right, then maybe a firearm is for you. You know? I
mean, rappers get it. Every rapper I listen to is like, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just gonna shoot you. I'm like, facts.
They don't because anger management issue, bro. Because they would fight somebody over stealing their Skittles, so they would shoot somebody over stealing their Skittles. You know what I mean?
Well, you're not wrong. The same rapper that I'm talking about also said, "I'm in the mood to get into a fight, but if he touches me, I'm gonna take his life." I'm like, that seems unfair.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, bro? That's a bit of a contradiction, my friend.
Like, bro, you setting everybody up with that. Like, you setting him up to die, and you setting yourself up for life in jail. That's what that is right there.
Welcome to West Palm Beach, Florida, where we don't give a fuck. No, for real though. That's a line from a West Palm Beach rapper.
I believe it wholeheartedly.
We are scammers. Yeah. Anyway.
Before we get off this, do you think Florida's the home of scamming?
I know it is. I know for a fact we're the home of scamming.
How do you know? Can you say how you know this?
Because there's. No, I don't know how. I'm just taking a guess because every Florida rapper raps about fraud.
Okay, that's fair. That's hella fair.
Like the people that, if you go look up like fraud lyrics and then look up the rapper that said it, I would put money and say that over 75% of them are from Florida. And I'd even put more money down to say that another 30 to 50% of those are South Florida.
Yeah, I feel like South Florida. I feel like the three places though is like South Florida, or just I wouldn't know where in Florida, but Florida, Detroit,
Oh God, yeah.
and LA. Like it's like the young guys out here.
Oh, dude, the only time
It's either you like. Go ahead.
No, I'll say the only time I've ever been scammed was in someone in Oakland got a hold of my credit card. I was like, you motherfucker got me. Scammer be
Oakland.
scamming.
Bro, the guy, bro. I'm telling like, it's really three things people in LA do for money. It's like at the main three things. It's like you either sell some drugs, you break in houses, or you scam people. It's one of those three.
I mean, to be successful in Florida, you have to have 2 jobs and fraud on the side in order to survive, or else you're just not going to make it.
Have you heard of this guy named Punch Made Dev?
It sounds familiar. What is that?
Look it up real quick. Punch Made is one word, and then DEV is the second word. I think it might all be one.
Yeah,
moniker.
I found him. Punch Made Dev shut down by YouTube amid police investigation.
Okay, so I want you to like. It's okay if I'd honestly be okay if this video gets taken down just for this. But I want you to go on YouTube and play his recent song called Wire Fraud.
Oh, the one where he says the whole thing. Yeah. I watched it, bro. Oh, he's under investigation. Yo, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. That is some new shit. I totally forgot. I saw that shit 3 days ago when it went viral, and everyone's like,
Right.
you know what's fucked up is I knew all that. And not that I've scammed before, but when they were like, you got to swap the SIM, I'm like, duh. Like, that's right. SIM swapping is real. Like, if you don't know about SIM swapping, you need to get on that. And I'm not saying so that you can scam people. I'm saying so you don't get scammed.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
People will literally steal your phone from you.
Verizon is the #1 carrier for that, too.
Yep, Verizon and Sprint. They get fucked up all the time. It's people on the inside. They get, like, here's the #1 piece of advice I have so you don't get scammed. Keep your mouth shut. Like, stop talking and stop posting shit. Like, you don't need to be flexing, because all it takes is you going into a Sprint store and being like, oh, I make money in NFTs. They're like, oh, bet you're going to be SIM swapped tomorrow. Like, or like, oh, I'm a successful entrepreneur. Like, okay, you were.
Like, the scammers know, too, they're not looking, like, they actively looking for full accounts and people who will have full accounts. They're not in fat burger workers. You know
dude, like, they're not scamming like random ass hard working families that barely are making it. Like,
bro, they don't want that.
They're trying to hit the people that are like. I know a lot of people that I've seen like interviews from that are scammers, because I'm super interested in like the mindset of people like that. But they're like, yo, it's a victimless crime because I only hit people that either A, have shitloads of money and they don't feel it, or I hit them when they've got bank insurance and the bank is the only person that feels it, but they're scamming everybody anyway, so fuck them. And I'm like, I agree wholeheartedly. They are scamming us, so get them. I'm not going to do it, but go get them, Tiger.
No, I definitely, I get that. But there's also, like, a lot of middle ground for that.
I'm not saying that I want people to get their money taken. I'm just saying, like, it sucks, and don't do it. That's what I'm saying. Don't scam people.
That video was crazy.
Yeah, anyone who's watching this, go watch Punch Made Dev and watch the video Scamming. What's it called?
I think it's called Wire Fraud. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of videos. It's called Wire.
He's got one called
Lost Texas Medicaid.
Hold up. What? I'm getting lots of Medicaid shit. I don't approve.
You said what?
I'm getting a lot of Medicaid and Medicare ads.
Yeah.
It's weird. Anyway. Okay, so hold on. I don't think you can hear this, can you?
No.
Yeah. Oh my god, all their chains are credit cards.
Bro, he has a chain of the card swiper, like the thing you hold to like. He has a chain with a hand holding it. It's the funniest shit in the world. Hold on, let me look it up.
Bro, this guy is so cool. How do I be like him?
You can barely read this bitch. I might pay using my chain and use the chip. Then bust a credit card, play to grab my cup and take a sip. I can sit back, run up 10 without me trying.
Bro, this
I
might
can
be
sit back,
the
quit rapping,
funniest
still be
chain
rich
in the
without me
world, bro.
trying. Last year I touched 1 million plus and got.
Oh wait, hold up. So they can hear it on there, but they can't see it. I gotta show the video. Go a little bit to the. Oh my god, bro! What the fuck? That is so wild.
Like that's the funniest chain I've ever seen.
Like legit. Hold up. Let me see if I can put. Let me see. Google's right there. Too high. Fuck. Google. Ah. I fucked up. Oh, that sucks. Oh well. There it goes. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Here we go. Yeah. Bro, this motherfucker.
You're not sharing it, by the way.
Not with you.
Okay.
I'll share it with you, though. You can see it. I thought I was sharing it in here. There. Wild. Fucking wild.
Yeah. This is like an old video. Like, now his shit is crazy. Like, this is already a lot of money, a lot of chains, a lot of fraudulent activities, but, like...
Oh, let's find his newer shit. Hold up. This is old. You're right.
He's out the hood. Not, bro, he's like, he's on a whole nother level.
3 weeks ago.
Somebody said he's telling. That's how he's still free. But...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Did you know that when you get picked up that you actually end up becoming untouchable? If you're a scammer and they want you to scam, what they'll do is they will let you keep scamming, but you just have to give away all the names. But you get to keep all the fucking money you take.
This video is the funniest thing in the world. Can you please play this out loud?
All right. Dude, what the fuck? Good lord. Oh my god. Bro, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
I had to make you play that out loud just for that, bro.
That is some.
God.
That guy is on one. That's some shit.
Oh my god. Ugh.
I can't.
See, that's the when you said like the shit about the victimless crime, it made me think of that video. I was like, please just watch this. Bro.
Fraud is not a victimless crime. I never said that. Okay, I definitely said that. No, I definitely said that. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. No, but for real though, I'm gonna go to bed because I'm tired.
I got you, bro.
But yeah,
catch you in the next.
That was a good one, man. I hope y'all have a great night.
Don't scam nobody.
Don't scam anybody. Fraud is bad.